Waking up the big block. Here's an update video since we haven't gotten to feature this in a while. So let me flip the camera around and show you what we got going on. Of course, it's starting to rain now, but first off, along the front of the truck, make sure we're focused in here. I've just did a quick spray job inside there to blacken it up, clean things up a little bit. Once we get under the hood, I don't remember where I've left off. I know I've mentioned a few updates on other videos, but haven't really showed much. So I have all the front accessories on, got the belts all set up and adjusted. You can see I refinished a lot of stuff, like all these brackets. I actually ground them down and redid them. The reservoir tank, that came out so nice. I love the way that feels. That's all the Pour 15 top coat there. Spray can. You can see we got heater hoses, and I got people yelling over there. What else we got going on here? Fuel line. I ran the factory metal line that comes up the block and usually comes back on the intake here and then attaches to your carburetor the rest of the way. I just kind of re-bent it to bring it out over to this side of the motor. It's not clamped on or anything, and I got to make a bracket or something to hold it so it's not so floppy. And we mounted the fuel command over here. So originally I was making a bracket to mount it up onto the firewall up there, but I didn't like the bracket. It was just too weird and goofy, and didn't really want to mount the thing way up there anyways, because I don't want it to be like center of attention, this giant ugly, you know, fuel command fuel pump thing. So I ended up removing the second battery tray that was down here, which was all rusty homemade anyways. Ripped all that out and mounted it right to the core support, so that looks a lot better. And I also removed a lot of wiring for the second battery. It had, you know, battery cables running all the way up there and down and over here, and then it had the what do you call that, the little deal that the alternator runs into, and then it can charge either or battery, whatever. Removed all that crap, so just kind of cleaned things up. But now today I actually installed the temp sensor, which I got to figure out what to do with this extra wiring because there's so much of it. And then all the wiring harnesses that come off of the FI Tech there, I pre-routed everything. I got 2 wires. These are optional wires, so I got to figure out where I'm going to hide those. Those are for if you have air conditioning, or if you're going to have the fuel injection control of the electric fans, which I don't have. So those I just got to hide. But yeah, everything's been pre-routed to where it needs to be hooked up. Everything from the tack signal to running the power wire here. Originally I was going to run this power wire to that little junction block on the firewall up there, but I figured, you know what, I think I want the whole fuel injection system, since it's running fuel pump and everything. I want it to have its own kind of dedicated power, so we'll run it straight over here to the positive battery, which I now have an extra wire running off of because I removed some old wiring. This runs back to the, well, that's not even the one I cut out. That one runs back to the rear bumper for some trailer power, whatever. I don't know, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with all that stuff yet. But I did remove something else. I forget what it was. I think I disconnected the trailer brakes, the trailer brake controller under the cab. I just pulled all the wires for that. Ooh. So that will be power for fuel injection now. See this orange wire I got running over here. Just mind you, this is all pre-routed. I just put it where it needs to be temporarily, and that'll run the actual fuel command fuel pump. So there's a positive, and then the negative, that'll run straight to a little ground, probably right to the core support. Should be good. But yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. I also did run the wiring harness down the back of the motor off of the driver's side down to the header down there so that it's set up for the O2 sensor. I gotta get a big drill bit, maybe like one of them stepped bits or uni bits, whatever they call them, and gotta drill a 7/8 hole in the behind the collector about 4 inches back. So I'm gonna have to remove the pipe to do that, which is gonna need new gaskets anyways because they're all blown out. So I got quite a few little things to do still to get this thing all hooked up and ready to fire, but it's getting closer. Just getting very close. So I'm starting to get excited. Yeah, I gotta do, I showed you this is the low pressure. This is coming off the factory fuel pump, which will feed into the sump. And I have to get an inline filter for this too. I gotta buy a decent looking one, not just the cheap clear one. Find a nice one. And then the fuel line that runs out of the high pressure, out of the pump, that will run along these power steering lines over the firewall, and it'll come in the back of the motor, and I'll be going right to that fitting right there. So I'm trying to keep everything around the motor, you know, trying to keep everything around it. Everything is, yeah, the rain's starting to come down good. Like all these, I've pre-routed because I'm going to run it inside of this loom once I start getting things hooked up. Just like all those wires, everything that you see exposed is going to be ran inside the looms that it's running next to. So I think it'll look pretty good. I'm starting to get excited. We're getting close. I need to replace some clamps on these power steering reservoir. Originally I didn't like this. I thought it was so ugly because it was all rusty and up in front of the motor, but now that I got it all refinished, it actually looks pretty decent. I don't have to worry about it too much. I mean, yeah, it's still in front, and it'd be nice if it wasn't there, but oh well, looks alright. Yeah, I think that's about it from an update. I can show you inside the cab because it's kind of a mess too. I got some wiring that I've. This is actually, well, this was the power and ground that I pulled out for this old trailer brake controller here. Get the focus in. I'm probably just gonna bundle that up and stuff it under the dash somewhere for hook it up later if I want trailer brakes. This is the little handheld controller for the FI-Tech. I gotta figure out where I'm gonna mount that. But yeah, I just ran the wire in through the firewall, and there's another wire that I snuck through there. This guy way up here, I gotta find a keyed ignition source for that. So yeah, it shouldn't be too bad. I probably gotta wait till I get the battery hooked back up before I do that, but yeah, I think that's a good update. I do have to get a different air cleaner because what I have right now, the Summit Racing one that I bought a couple years ago, it's got the drop base. For one, if you've read Engine Masters, the drop base suck. They just kind of restrict a lot of airflow. Two, it doesn't clear the fuel injection. It hits on the new fitting back here and stuff, and doesn't really. It's not big enough to clear it. So I'm gonna get a flat base, and then I don't know. Maybe I'll do something different too with a different air cleaner or something. So I think that's a good update. I like the way it's starting to look. Everything looks nice and clean. I'm actually fairly impressed. I can't wait to get this thing running. Yeah, I got quite the laundry list of parts that I need to buy though. You know, that being one of them. I need a fuel or a oil fill plug. Let me show you my list of stuff I gotta buy here. I've been writing down as I go here so I don't forget. So I need an air cleaner. I need the fuel filter, the inline fuel filter. I need a bunch of hose clamps. I need heat shrink and butt connectors and stuff like that for hooking up all this wiring. Try and do it nice. Get the nice heat shrink ones. Oh yeah, I need a new throttle cable bracket because the factory one doesn't fit the this setup. Need oil filter, coolant, oil, all that stuff. Oil fill cap. I need a 3/8 plug to plug a big vacuum hole in the back of the manifold. Need my big drill bit and some 3-inch collector gaskets. So, yeah, I gotta try and jump online and order all that stuff tonight. Hopefully it's not too expensive. But we are definitely getting closer. I don't know about you guys, but it's starting to look pretty good. Still looks a little hectic because of this, you know, different power steering setup and whatnot, but I like the way it's looking. A lot better than before. So, until then, hopefully next time we'll be firing this thing up.